Welcome to the show. Let's begin as always with the latest in COVID-19 cases, since what the show is all about. New Oasis County, whoa, 37,000 cases over 39,000. So that's 39,037 cases, 742 deaths, no new deaths. None of recovered in New Oasis County, 2.76 million. None of recovered, 47,611 deaths, 2.29 M. None of recovered, the deaths, 543K. As for the vaccinations, 3.11, we're up to 11% of vaccinations. 22% of the population, 6.3 million, 3.1. Well, let's check out California. As we can see here, the cases are dying down. A 7-day average, 394 new cases. But this graph on the 7-day average, as for California, 1.21 million plus 394, 22,034 plus 33, and close to 23,000 cases in Los Angeles County. The vaccine needs to be distributed at all times. It needs to be administered. It shouldn't be mandatory. It should not be optional. It needs to be mandatory. Everyone needs to get that vaccine. Like right this second, we need to get back to normal here. We need to get back to things we love to do. We need to get back to hugging, kissing, and all that other stuff. But with y'all just sitting there not worried about COVID, and when I hear people say that, oh, I'm not worried about COVID, that leads me to believe that you're not worried. What that leads me to believe is that you're not worried about getting sick. So what really needs to happen is that if you're going to sit there and say, oh, I'm not worried about COVID, you better be right. And if you're going to sit there and lie saying you got sick and you got COVID, look who's laughing now. It's not me. So how can we protect ourselves? Again, like I've always said several times, you need to make sure that you wear a mask. And for the masks, I've been telling you this a lot. The mask had to be at the bridge of the nose. It cannot be down here. It cannot be down here. It has to be at the nose. Now for those who are in school, if your teacher instructs that you can take off your mask, then you can take off your mask. That's the instruction. That's the instructions. If your teacher says, leave the mask on, leave the mask on. No ifs, ands, or buts. Social distancing. If your school says to stay within 3 feet, you stay within 3 feet. If your school remains 6 feet, you stay within 6 feet. If you don't see barcodes on the ground, walk away. Postings, you don't see them, talk to the manager. They'll explain. Like, if you ask the manager, hey, why is there no markings, why is there no postage, they'll explain. If they say they're not concerned about COVID, walk away. No ifs, ands, buts, or excuses. Wash your hands every 20 to 30 seconds in warm water with soap antibacterial soap and water, and always carry with you hand sanitizer at all times. At all times. If you have a medical condition where you have asthma, you cannot wear a mask. If they tell you to wear a mask, you wear a mask. Don't be sitting there arguing with them saying, I'm right, you're wrong, so and so. And they make you wear. And if all stores and other places make you wear a mask or are required, then that's their job. That's their choice. Don't be sitting there arguing with them saying, hey, this isn't right. And they're trying to tell you, well, we're trying to keep all our employees safe. We're trying to keep all our employees safe and all that stuff. And also, don't listen to those anti-maskers who believe the numbers are fake and not real. Because the numbers are real and reported by the health district, and the media reports them a lot. And if you think they're real, I believe you. If you think they're not real, walk away. Don't join those anti-maskers. And speaking of that, let's see if there's any this week. Hold on, I gotta clean my laptop. Well, there's none this week, so we can continue on. Next, Easter's coming up. How can you be safe from Easter? We'll explain next. We'll explain how you can protect yourself from Easter during COVID when everyone else gets the vaccine. That's next. Look, Easter's coming up, and we want to see everyone hunt the Easter eggs, see the Easter bunny, who's magical friends Santa Claus, and all the other stuff. But what is the safest way to celebrate Easter or Passover? If you're fully vaccinated, you gather indoors and maskless with unvaccinated people from one another, has to report to CDC. But that means, for instance, that vaccinated grandparents can celebrate with their unvaccinated children and grandchildren for a single household, as long as none are at risk for severe COVID-19 because the factors is pregnancy or undefined medical condition. If you've not been vaccinated, the CDC recommends you continue to avoid social gatherings. Choose to get together with people you don't live with. Remember that small gatherings are safer, according to the agency. Wear a mask with 2 or more layers. Make sure the mask fits securely under your chin and cover your nose and mouth. Wear your mask indoors. Stay at least 6 feet away. Avoid direct contact. Gathering outdoors is safest. If you're gathering indoors, follows food and drink. It's better when guests bring their own. People should wash their hands. There's no available place to wash hands. People should use hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol. Controlling to wear a mask. Anyone 2 years old and up should wear a mask. If you're under controlling younger than 2 should not wear a mask due to the safety risk. Hold on just a minute. Okay, I am so sorry about that. I had to clean up my laptop. But there are also fun and safe ways to spend Easter weekend this year. You can go outdoors. You can go by the sea, a road trip. You can do it at home. You can do a virtual party. You can see tour by tour, tourist attractions. There's lots of ways you can do it by fun. But there's lots of other things. Mr. Mom, Mom.com, I can't rhyme, almost rhymes, but has some 7 tips. Stay home to save lives. You must gather, do so outdoors. All activities outside, being good food, wear a mask, and enjoy an outdoor Easter egg hunt, but have hand sanitizer ready, available. Get vaccinated if you're eligible. Think outside the box. Visa services. Conduct a virtual Easter egg hunt. Have a virtual Easter dinner, and you can be a virtual Easter bunny. There's lots of fun ways. And if you can sit there and say, "Oh, I'm not worried about COVID," like I said, that's your choice. But this pandemic is on the rise. People are saying they're, "Oh, I'm not worried about COVID," and all that kind of stuff. But when you say that, you're encouraging others to say the same thing. And I know y'all might be saying, "Well, that's your opinion," and all that kind of stuff. Well, I heard this from a friend of mine. He said, "I'm not concerned about COVID, and everyone was not staying 6 feet." And I was like, okay. But there are those anti-mask protests that have been happening, and there's some latest happenings. Just today, just yesterday, 2 public health order arrests at Honolulu anti-protest. 2 people have been arrested during a weekend anti-mask rally. And when Waikiki and 2 others were cited on Honolulu on allegations of violating emergency public health orders related to the COVID pandemic. It happened in the park last Saturday, drew hundreds of people who protested mask usage and other coronavirus and COVID-related health restrictions. The officers responded to the gathering organized by Aloha Freedom. But we don't know the trial date or everyone's going to court. That's why I tell you, don't be listening to those anti-maskers who believe that numbers are real or fake. I believe the numbers are real. They're not fake. The media reports them all the time. They're reported by the health district. The health district gets the numbers, and the media reports them. They get the data, and they report the data to everyone. And look, we're going to get through this. Look, folks, I believe that together we're going to get through this. We all have to do our part. And the way to do your part is to make sure you don't do stupid stuff like going to anti-mask rallies. You're going to get yourself arrested. You do so, you're going to get yourself arrested, and then you're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble. That's the whole picture here, and it's not, that's your choice. When you make that choice, you have to choose everything that goes along with it. Alright, coming up, going back to the riot, his wife is divorcing him after seeing the images. Her husband, who was a police detective assigned to the FBI violent crimes, is fleeing for divorce. But the cops say, but there's more to the story. We'll give you that when we return. Imagine this. One day, this was back during the riots in Washington. you and your wife are planning a trip together, and then you book the accommodation, hotel, rental cars, all that stuff, and then your husband begs you, please, please don't go, please, I don't want to lose you, I don't want to see you go to jail, please, please, please don't go. And then you say, okay, I won't go, and then you flat out lie to your husband and say, I'm going out for a drink, and it's like, okay, see you, bye, and then all of a sudden you're in Washington. That's the latest case what happened months ago. She was arrested, and her husband divorced her because of this. And get this, this husband was an FBI agent. And it was also a Pittsburgh police officer. But it doesn't end there. The FBI tweeted saying, you can help you identify these individuals involved in the January 6th violence. But she was the one who went to the riot, and then bam, she got arrested. Bottom line is, don't be going to those things. Don't go to those riots. You're gonna get yourself in a lot of trouble. Not only that, it could cost you your job and your life. When you go to jail, you lose your job. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. When we come back, an apology about yesterday's episode. Give me about yesterday's episode. Stay with us. If you saw yesterday's episode, you may realize I've been talking about racism. I broke that rule for one reason, for the children. I said yesterday there are children out there who are racist. It wasn't inspired by me. It was an episode of Jerry Springer back in 1993. Those words I heard did not come out of her. I said the words of a racist child racism did not come out of an adult, come out of a child's mouth, like 12, 13, 14-year-olds, but I wanted to point out we have to end racism for the child. I've been telling you guys, what we actually need to do is end racism in America. You have rights to your beliefs. Yes, I understand you have rights to your beliefs, but if a child gets involved in this saying, we should be killing so-and-so, that's racist. That's racism. And I broke that rule for one reason, for the children. If your child's a racist, you need to watch out for the signs. We can't have this happen. What we really got to do is make sure that we know what we're doing at all times. That's why I would recommend that what you would do is make sure they talk to your child about racism at all times. If you don't talk to your child about racism, how are they going to learn? Exactly, how are they going to learn? We have to teach them not to judge the color of their skin by the content of the character. That's what Martin Luther King Jr. said. As well, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, and Martin Luther King ended the civil rights movement. That led him to be shot by Raoul. For those who thought it was James Earl Ray, it wasn't James Earl Ray. It was a man named Raoul. History has changed. So, that's basically my apology for all the parents and the children that watch this. And if they did, I apologize. I also want to apologize for, I did not say, I said that if your child watches this show and hearing profanity, I mean, what I basically heard was basically, was part of the script, like, gosh, it smells good. What I really thought, I heard it by ear. It was from other YouTubers who shot an episode and heard. They heard the other one, but I apologize to the parents and kids who saw that topic last week. But still, what we need to do is teach our kids not to swear and not to steal. That is the whole point here. I thought what I think what really needs to happen here is that we need to teach kids not to report, not to be racist, and not to use profanity. But I think what we really need to do is make sure that we know what we're doing. Are we going to bring you this is the very latest into the shooting that happened at a supermarket in Boulder, Colorado. 10 people were killed in a shooting. Come on, we don't need all these shootings. First we have the school shootings, the church shootings. It's all about the video games. It's all about these video games. And the background checks. Nobody does a full background check. Texas needs to change its laws to where it's impossible to get a gun. That's not expected. There needs to be laws. Background checks are a joke. Over in some states, but we need to make it tougher for everyone to buy a gun. License, you have a license, and go through background checks. You pass a background check, you get a gun. If you don't pass a background check, you don't get a gun. Even if you were asking a police officer how hard would it be to get a gun, they'd tell you it was easy. And there was there's 10 people out here. I'll be posted. Stay tuned to your local news for the latest information, and stay tuned to this broadcast for all the latest information that I can give you. This is Officer Digital Give Me Break Monday going to Tuesday. We'll see you again with Give Me Break Wednesday. Well, I'm here to YouTube. Have a great night.